G'day. How you doing? Just checking everything. How about the backdrop? It's a bit ordinary this morning, and great to be here with you. Me and my mullet. Let me know, Tom Putt, how you doing? I'm loving your form in the comments this morning, guys. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. I've got the new camera. Well, it's not the new actually. What's happened is I was switching over to my more powerful PC. But nothing works on the PC currently, so I've had to get some other gear. So I'm here sort of rigged up, bodged it up, so I could come to you guys live this morning. And the camera's in a new spot, so I'm kind of looking up at you guys. Morning, you can hear me. Tom Putt, what the heck? Welcome to my mess, my messy life, my messy studio. Me and the mullet looking good. Guys, okay, some big news. I've got a new concept coming up. Okay, so over the last few weeks, I've been really struggling to keep up with this YouTube, to tell you the truth, and it's been really intense. And I was tossing up over the last few days, do I completely just stop what I'm doing? And look, I don't really want to do that because it's been so much fun, and I love coming and seeing you guys. The light looks great, does it really? I'm a bit red. It's not color graded, it's just chucked together. And look, I don't want to stop it completely, but, as you know, with artistic endeavors, and I count this as an artistic endeavor of sorts, it really needs to light your soul on fire, or, you know, it quickly becomes just something that you do. Now, in the beginning, this absolutely lit my soul on fire, but lately it's just been, you know, I've been so busy, it's been hard to keep up, and it hasn't been all that inspiring. But hold on a second. I've got a brand new concept that is absolutely incredible that I'm super excited about. It's going to be broken up into like 8-part series, more like a, I don't know, more like a, yeah, like a Netflix series where we focus on one individual element of photography and talk to a whole bunch of incredibly creative photographers about that one subject. I'm not going to tell you too much more about it just yet because I love the concept so much that I want it to be a little bit of a surprise when it comes back on. Where's the but? There is a but, Steph. It's going to be incredible. It's a subject that I'm super passionate about, and I'm sure it's going to attract some really incredible photographers and really incredible insights, and really light your guys' mojo and passion for photography on fire. It's going to be incredible. But what I need to do, I need about probably 6 or 8 weeks to line all that up, because what I'm having trouble with is if I'm going to spend all this time on the YouTube shows, I really need it to be worth, you know, the effort, and I want to be able to make not make the most out of it, but make it as good as it possibly can be. You know, like having a schedule with events coming up and what's happening and what we're doing and all that kind of stuff, which I haven't had time to do. So give me about 6 weeks. If I'm going to miss you guys, but down below in the comments, jump on and make sure you sign up to my email list so that you get updates, because in about a month's time, I'm going to start announcing the project, what it's all about, and the photographers that I've got lined up for that as it comes together. It's absolutely coming back. I've just invested about $3,000 in new cameras, new microphones, new audio mixing. I want to really raise the level to bring this up and give it, really take it seriously, okay? All right. How's that sound? Tom, but you'll be getting a phone call at some stage, I am sure. It's a brilliant concept. I've been thinking about this for 3 or 4 days, and anyone that's ever sort of gotten a bit lost creatively, if you know what that feels like, guys, if you've gotten a bit lost creatively, sort of lost your way a little bit, and then as you contemplate what the direction is you should take your creativity, suddenly that light bulb goes off and that new passion is ignited, and that's exactly how I feel. So it's going to be a really great project. You're going to love it. It's much along the lines of what we're doing, slightly different style, slightly more appealing theme, I guess, and we'll see how we go. Terry, does this mean no more until 6 weeks? Look, probably. I might do a few random ones here and there, but I really need time to invest and set everything up and get it ready to go, and all that kind of thing. So I would say probably 4 to 6 weeks a break, and then we'll get back into it, okay? All right, guys. We've got a little bit of critique here today. I've got just 4 images, and we're going to run through and critique those. Oh, Gay says she'll really miss the sessions. Absolutely, I'll miss you guys too. You know, it feels a little bit sort of like the end of something great that we had, but it's the start of something really, you know, even greater potentially, and something more sustainable. All right. You guys know how it feels like when you get a bit lost creatively, or when you lose your mojo. You got to find it, and I've found it. That's the good news. I've found it, and I'm moving on, and we're going to work on that. And jump on the email list. Make sure you're getting my emails, or you're in the Facebook group or whatnot, so you can see what the concept is. I probably will launch that or announce what the concept is in about 2 or 3 weeks, and then start announcing the guests that I'll be having on. I'm really hoping that this concept is going to allow me to bring in some big name international creatives as well. If the mullet's still there, how about that? Oh, 6 weeks, the mullet won't be there. It'll be fresh-faced and trim and all trimmed up and looking good, Tom Putton. Yeah, absolutely, guys. I'll miss you too. All right, let's move over to the Photoshop. Let's do some critique. And be sure, ask some questions as we go along. I love your input while we're doing critique. And yeah, feel free to ask some questions about, you know, about what's going on and what's coming up. I'm going to be a little bit vague about the exact concept, but it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. What do you mean, Sonny? What am I doing? I'm doing something. I'm following my passion, and it's going to be great. You're going to love it. You will understand once we get there, but you're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to be patient and wait for it to come around. But as I said, the great thing is it will be much more structured. You'll have an upcoming schedule with guests and all that kind of stuff, rather than me just coming on here and winging it. I don't think I'm giving it the respect that it deserves. And we've built it up, or you guys have built this up to an incredible level. And so essentially what I'm trying to do is bring a level of, or a higher level of professionalism to what we have. Guys, it's not the end of the world. Okay. 𝗴𝗿𝗲𝗁𝗁𝗁, not the Ray Martins we know from Australia, from the current affairs. But we have an image here from Ray Martins. And of course, it's not Ray Martins in Australia, is it? It's Ray Martin. Anyway, Ray says, this image was taken in Mungo, and sorry about that, Ray, you probably get that all the time, right? So, old jokes. It's going to be great, guys. Like, it's going to be epic. Make sure you're on the email list, or you're following me on Facebook or something, so you know what's coming up. All right, Ray, sorry about the bad dad joke. This was taken in Mungo National Park in March last year. Just recently. Well, reasonably recently, 18 odd months ago. We purposefully timed our visit to coincide with a full moonrise. We were blown away by both the incredible national park and the moonrise. Yeah, Mungo National Park is epic. The glow on the rocks was real, although accentuated, as the moon was rising at the time and the sun was setting in the opposite direction, as it does. Sonny likes the winging it. Look, it's still going to be the same me, but just with, you know, a little bit more schedule and structure, and yeah, it's going to be good. Trust me, it's great. It's something I feel really passionate about, and I know, and no one else on YouTube is doing this concept currently. They're touching on it, but they're not focusing on it that I've seen. So that's going to be really exciting. All right, Ray, what have we got here? Gorgeous. Big old full moon. I mean, initially it looks composited. In fact, I'd almost say 100% that full moon has been composited, but it's very effective. It looks great. What you need to be careful with, though, is, look, let's start with the positives first. I love the composition. I love the foreground and the layering as it sort of moves back to that beautiful, gorgeous orange full moon there. Tom Butt. I'll give you a call after and we'll talk it through. Look, we got all those other live videos. Just put them on a Tuesday and a Thursday and just pretend. Just pretend. It's okay. Positives. Composition's great. I love the color palette, the blues and the oranges. I think they work really, really well. Now, as a way to improve this, like it's really striking, but a way to improve this is, let's have a little play. I mean, I think maybe the blues are a little bit too blue, and pulling them back and darkening them might help have that moon sit into the landscape a little bit better. Let's see what happens there. What if we do a black and white filter? Change the blend mode. Now I'm winging it, guys. I have no idea if this is going to work. To luminosity and pull the blues down a little. Oh, hello. Oh, too much. Just a little. Yeah. See, that now looks a little more like a night sky, doesn't it? Whereas before it looked, yeah, not so much like a night sky, I guess. So that's worked a little bit. We could also probably darken down the edges to allow that full moon to sort of cast its light through the foreground there a little bit more. I know this light has come from the setting sun on the other side, but I would expect it to be a little bit darker around the edges. Let's have a play with that too. Yeah, it is a cool shot, isn't it? Look, the randomness will not be going, guys. Well, to a degree it won't be going anyway. It's more about the concept. Basically, it's going to be a self-help. That's a little hint. It'll be a self-help for me, progressing through my photography journey via talking to photographers that have achieved what I'm looking to achieve, if you like. And it's not quite as literal as that, though. It's much more poetic, and it's like searching for the meaning of life, if you like. A little bit. I'm giving too much away. I'm giving too much away. The search. Okay. A little bit of a darkening around these edges may help. What we're trying to do is bring it more into a night evening shot. You know, still keep those beautiful warm glows there. Maybe even a blue filter, and we'll paint it away from those red cliffs. Photo filter. I tell you what, here's a little hint for you. If you guys there at home are often searching for that something in your photography, whether it be your style, whether it be meaning and purpose, whether it be, you know, depth, just if you often feel like you've gotten past that stage when photography was really, really exciting, like when you first get your camera and you just want to go out and capture those beautiful sunrise and sunsets, and there'll be something in that for you if you're at that level as well. But if you're often sort of wavering, like wondering, what does it all mean, and what should I be doing, and those kind of questions, there's a little hint. That's what we'll be delving into. And we'll be asking the most creative photographers in the world how they got to where they are, and the troubles and the hurdles that they had to overcome maybe to get there. Yeah, I think this works. Let's invert that layer. A little bit more blue there, a little bit blue. We'll leave that section rather warm. Yeah, what do we think? Let's have a look where we started. I've probably ruined it, have I? Sonny, sounds. I've got you on the bus, Sonny. I've managed to turn you. I don't know what you guys think. That's before there? Beautiful photo. Don't get me wrong. It's absolutely gorgeous. But see, and in actual fact, which one is? I'm going to group those layers together because I want that moon to be brighter. Command or Control G for group. Put a mask on. Oh, that's not a mask. That's a mask there. With a black brush, I can now just dot all those layers away at once. And you know what we could do? Let's add a little bit of sort of a moon glow haze coming from there as well. G'day, William. How you doing? Have been focusing on minimalism and trying to concentrate on the basics. Yeah, absolutely. You know, the new series will be touching on all of that kind of stuff, like, you know, what appeals, basically why photography. That's it. No more, no more, no more. I'll do a video. In fact, I'll do a video in about 2 or 3 weeks, and I'll put it on here on YouTube, and I will absolutely tell you all about the concept, exactly what it's going to look like, the photographers I have lined up with interest, and what we're going to try and discover. Okay, what are we doing? We're going to try, I don't know if this is the right color for a moon glow. But the moon is kind of an orangish glow on the horizon here, so maybe. Let's see what happens. On the bus, good on you, Sonny. It's exciting. Oh, here we go. All right, that works, doesn't it? Okay. There we go there. Great photo, don't get me wrong. Yeah, there's maybe some issues. The clouds, yeah, the clouds are okay. In fact, the main concern I have with the moon is the fact that around the moon here seems to be the remnants of the blend. I can kind of see where the old sky was. And what I would normally do with that is try and blend more of that old sky out. So really feather it off. Okay, so if you start from there at, you know, the old sky is like 80 to 100% like it is there, and then slowly feather it off to the edge, you might get a better finish. Yeah, Declan, I think you're going to love it. You're going to love it. It's, you know, the real search for what, well, in a simple sense, it's the search for the meaning of photography, but that's not exactly the angle we're taking. Okay. Hey, that looks pretty cool. What do you guys think? What else could we do? What else could we do? I can't see how many of you guys are there. You're probably like, that's it, I'm switching off. Adam's not doing it anymore. All right, so a big thank you to Ray. Beautiful image, Ray. Love the national park out there in Western, is it Western New South Wales? I think it is. Love the shot, love the concept, the creativity, and you can actually see that glow has actually even helped to, if anything, disguise the fact that it's a composite as well, which is really nice. We could probably even add to that a little bit, could we? No, yeah, subtle is better. Subtle is better in this case. All right, let's move along. Katrina actually in the email, I didn't copy and paste this over, but Katrina was saying thank you so much for all the live YouTubes. She's over in Canada. She watches them of an evening live. Are you with us today, Katrina? If you are, hello, how you doing? Sorry that the YouTube lives is pausing. Well, the first section is ending. You know, that was awesome. Things come to an end. The next section, I think, is going to be better. I think. That's enough talking about that. But Katrina was saying she loves it. She's watching from Canada. That happens to be in the evening, probably Monday, Wednesday evenings. Oh, guys, tell me as well, what's the preferred time slot? Even if you're watching this on replay, do you like the 10 a.m. time slot in Sydney, Australia time? Or would you prefer if I did a, say, 7:30 time slot on a maybe a Tuesday or something like that? Let me know, what is your preferred time slot where you can jump on and watch live as it may be. And I'll also take that into account as well. I'll also be sending out an email on my email list as well with maybe a bit of a what do you call that thing? A survey. Why did survey jump out of my head? with a bit of a survey on time slots, etc., etc. This time, says Terry. Katrina, heart in your mouth, nervous, how you doing? Looking forward to the next sessions. Great stuff, great to have you here, all the way from Canada. Oh, no, I absolutely will not be clashing with Tom Part or, yeah, so I'll be keeping that in mind. So Tuesday was, is Tom on Tuesday? I thought he was on Monday. So I won't be clashing with any of the big live streams like Tom's or the guys at Talking Landscape Photography or anything like that. We'll make sure we'll find our own unique day which doesn't really have any clashes. Morning is good. Okay, looks like you guys love the morning sessions. Okay, keep letting me know. Even if you're watching on replay, drop a comment below and I'll have a look and make sure that the morning 10 a.m. morning sessions is good. You wanted it Monday 8 p.m. No, that's when Tom Putt's live session is Monday 8 p.m. Stay away. I couldn't compete with you, Tom. That's the problem. All right, Katrina, let's try and read this little essay here without me stumbling and mumbling my way through. February 2019, Katrina was able to visit Milford Sound in New Zealand. It's absolutely spectacular. Well, I've never been there, but I've seen the photos and it is spectacular. And of course, we had William Patino on a couple of weeks ago, well, last week it was, wasn't it? With his incredible New Zealand photography. Jump back and check that out if you're missing me on Thursday or next week. When we came around the corner, I was awestruck by this remarkable sight. The rains had been torrential the day before, and the mountains were unloading the water in massive pop-up waterfalls. That's much like we saw from William last week. The absolute beauty of the early morning waterfall was accompanied by a vast blanket of spray that overtook the neighbouring vegetation. The magnitude of the power and its beauty was striking. So I guess we're looking for a real powerful, awe-inspiring type photograph here. Let's check it out and see if that's what we have. Can't compete with the mullet. No one can compete with that mullet, Tom. Maybe I will keep the mullet and grow it right out, like down here. I used to have long hair. I did, back in high school, right halfway down my back. But every time I shave my beard, I get confused for a girl. No, well, not every time, but it happened a couple of times. And I thought, well, maybe I need to change the hairstyle. Okay. Oh, what a morning, guys. Are you still there with me? I just had my broadband completely drop out. So I had to jump over, grab my phone, and let me know if you're back loud and clear. Look at that for a bit of troubleshooting on the run. Just refreshing the comments here so that I can see you guys again because they dropped out as well. Back, yeah, blame the mullet. Yeah, my broadband. Plug for Optus. It's been a bit crap lately. It just completely dropped off the air. So we're back on the old Telstra mobile phone on the backup. We're still here. Bit of troubleshooting on the run, guys. The fun and games of live, but we're back. We know the phone's working now and I can see it's working. back. We're all back. Here we are. We got this dramatic, incredibly romantic, photograph of the Milford Sound with just the raw power of the waterfall and the spray and everything going on. I'm not sure it needs a lot, to be honest. I'm not sure it needs a lot. It's just beautiful. I love this section of light here and it balances out the waterfall quite beautifully. Leslie, please not Tuesday. All right, noted. How would what would I do? I don't know. I don't think there's a lot to do. Let's have a little play with some curves and see what just happens to come up. Okay. What if we, I don't know, darkening down maybe the top and bottom a little. Or maybe we I was thinking darken, but now I'm thinking maybe we could darken off that corner there maybe. As we start to wing it. We could darken off that to add some drama. We could maybe darken off the water a little. Maybe we could bring some glow sunlight through there. Let's see. Let's choose an orange. In our favorite, one of our favorite blend modes, at least when we're painting with pure sunlight, we want the color dodge. All right, that looks a bit outrageous there. What was on last night, guys? What was on last night that was good? Was there an, oh, was it 𝗃𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗁 was on last night? There you go. I missed it. Sorry, Tom. Doesn't look really great, does it? But I'm just looking at this area here. Command or Control I. We'll turn this opacity down because this will come on quickly. Yeah, maybe. I think we could get a little bit more detail out of the waterfall, Daryl, with a bit of contrast. Okay, that's quite nice. That's quite nice. A little bit of colour. Let's see if we can get a little bit of detail. Oh, the 𝗴𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗁𝗁 Camera Club. Cool. Did you have a guest presentation? Someone, a photographer, or was it just within the club itself last night? Curves. Let's see if we can pull some detail out of that waterfall with contrast. So I've added a curves layer. If we grab this little hand here, and we're going to try and find where the tones of the waterfall are and just split them a little bit, separate them. Okay, so if I click on a darker section, maybe a lighter section, there they are there, that's where the tones are. I think I need to darken more so than lighten. Yeah, maybe, Command or Control I. It was a Zoom Lightroom tutorial, that sounds awesome. A little bit of drama in there. Let's have a play around with photo filters and just see. I'm thinking maybe 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗃𝗃 could help me out here. When I'm stuck sometimes, going to the presets or the filters of 𝗃𝗶𝗃𝗃 can sometimes get me out of that rut. But look, to be honest, I'm not stuck. I'm stuck because the photo is finished. That's why, and there's nothing really to do. Let's have a look, like a warming filter. Yeah, the warming filter does look quite nice. What's a cooling filter look like? Not really. Warming. Yeah, I think that's probably about it. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Look, I'll be honest, I haven't made any difference to that whatsoever. As I'm turning off the on and off, what I am liking, look, I'm up here nor there, not really fussed. Whoops. Waterfall, a little bit better. This section here though, where that golden light is great. Look, if I was to add all of these to a group, Command or Control G, add a layer mask, and basically invert that layer mask so we're looking at the raw file again, and just paint on, back on. Yeah, Tony, we had an internet issue there, didn't we? And I just paint in that bit that I love. So I thought that really made a difference, particularly maybe the waterfall with that extra contrast too. Up there, didn't really make any difference. Let's see, before, after. Yeah, we've just popped up that light there a little bit. That's really all it was. Katrina, absolutely gorgeous photograph. Not really much I can do with it, to be honest. Let's move on to the next one. Colleen, thank you. 𝗴𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗃𝗃 is pronounced 𝗴𝗵𝗲𝗃. 𝗴𝗵𝗃 Camera Club. All right, you know that I'm absolutely hopeless when it comes to pronouncing anything. Absolutely. Oh, Katrina, you're too kind. I don't think I did much at all. I think it was already finished. Okay. Oh, I've only seen these images briefly, but this one's a beauty. From Hedda. She says this image was taken in Greenland last year. She sees a dolphin or a whale shape rising from the icy water. My feelings at the time was one of peace, serenity, And it looks like I've cut out some words there. And such, and awe of such beauty. I've edited it a few times, but I'm missing the emotion I felt on the day. Well, let's have a look. Yeah, it was a beautiful image, Katrina. Let's make that full screen there. Turn these off. Heather, thank you so much. Look at this. Look, to be honest, I don't think you need to do a lot, but I do feel we can just give it a little lift by selectively contrasting, adding contrast. How's the serenity? Heather Rose, yes, thank you, Heather. Yes, it's your image. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay. Look, I love the mystery as it is right now, but given that you mentioned that it was the dolphin or the whale here, and it's absolutely a standout subject in this image, maybe we could just bring that forward a fraction, just a fraction. Try and keep it subtle, which is not my forte, not my strength, keeping things subtle. But I think we can just give this a nice little elevate and leave the rest of the image much as it is. Let's see if we can do that. Let's see. I'm going for contrast first. Curves. Again, grab that little hand, because this little hand, this little tool here, the hand, is a great little research tool. It will tell us, look how narrow the histogram is, but that is not to be afraid of. You don't always have to have a widespread histogram. For example, if I hit auto curves, this will add a bucket full of contrast as it tries to spread the histogram across the entire graph scale, and I think it will wreck the image, but let's try. Let's see what happens. Maybe it will. Maybe we'll see some benefit somewhere. Let's click auto for auto curves adjustment. You know what? It's interesting, isn't it? It hasn't completely ruined it. Okay. Click on auto again, holding down Option or Alt. Oh, yeah, I see that now, 𝗂𝗍. The person sort of sitting under, giving the dolphin a tickle under the chin there. Okay, so the auto curves add a lot of contrast. Now in sections of this image, contrast is going to be to our benefit, but in the background, it's removing the mystery, which is not great. We want to keep that mystery. Which one do we use though? Which one do we feel? I like these two in the middle. Oh, and that one's nice too. But that one has a nice little sort of golden sunlight effect. Yeah, that one. Let's run with that initially. Don't yell at me just yet. Command or Control I for invert. Let's bring the dolphin or the mystery back and the fog back. B for brush. We'll turn this down quite low because that was quite an intense change. So we got the brush down around 15%. White brush. What we're trying to do is create a sense of front to back depth. By adding a little bit more contrast, it'll bring that dolphin forwards to the front of the frame, much like the landscape painters do, or in fact any painters. They'll add more contrast and more detail to the elements that they want to be forward in frame. And then the rest of the frame has less contrast. See back here, not much contrast at all, no detail. Just let that sit where it is. So an image like this would be a tragedy if you went and dehazed it all and brought everything forward, because you lose the mystery. Okay, and something as subtle as that is almost all that we need. What I'm thinking of is let's have a little tweak with colors now. Let's try a little combination of a little bit of warmth on the dolphin, on the subject, and a little bit of cool behind it, and get that complementary color scheme going. We'll just have a little play. You know, I'm always going overboard, so excuse me if I go overboard, but we'll try and keep this subtle. Photo filter. Let's go with the cooler filters first. And that will really bring the mood. This looks like a cold photo, doesn't it? So which one? Oh, that's icy, isn't it? See, that one's kind of a bit of a warm cold, like a purplish cold. I love purple. Tom Putt loves purple, but in this case, I don't think it suits. And you need to ask yourself, what is the color? That's a more subtle coldness, or do we want to go the icy? Let's go over the top first. You know me. And in fact, I think the entire image, let's just reduce the opacity a little bit. And now let's see if we can bring in some warmth to the highlights. Katrina, was it Katrina? No, it wasn't. It was, oh, it was Katrina. How to bring out the abstract details in the photo. I never know where to stop. Yeah, it's a good point. It's hard because, well, after I do this warming filter, we'll have a little play with that and we'll have a look. Warming. Oh, that's cooling. What am I doing? Warming. You can see at the moment the warming filter is kind of just neutralizing the cooling filter that we did before because they're opposites, the blues and the yellows. Well, they're reasonably close to opposites in any case. If you lay one over the top of the other, it will tend to just neutralize. Okay. So what we might do, we'll leave that like that. Let's go and grab this filter and play with blend if. Let's take the cool out of the highlights. Okay, and then we just grab the white slider here and you'll see, watch. See? Bring that cool out of the highlights. In fact, if we hold down Option or Alt and split that slider, it will do it much more subtly. Okay. You probably can't see that, but if I hold down Command Z and toggle back and forth, you'll see there's the full blue wash filter, and then there is allowing the highlights, or sorry, removing the blue wash from the highlights. Can you see full blue wash? And then watch the dolphin. So it's a little bit warmer. Okay, that's really helping in my opinion to bring that and pop that off the screen in a subtle way. Very subtle. Okay, we've got another warming filter here. See, it's kind of neutralizing the entire photo. We don't really want that. So again, we'll use blend if, and this time we'll allow the shadows to stay cold. Just like that, and then split. And just lower that opacity. And I think that's about as far as I would want to go, but let's have a little play with some of the questions that Katrina popped up there, which was how to bring out, you know, where do we stop with the abstract detail? Because if I could really make these sections pop and these sections pop, but I don't think I really want to. Curves. We grab this little hand, we come over here and click on a darker section and a lighter section. You can see those tones are very tightly compacted together. Now, to pull the details out, we would split those tones apart, which just means to pull this one down a little and pull that one up a little. And look, that's too much. But can we get away with a little bit of that effect? Because now what I'm thinking, and great that you brought this up, Katrina, as I'm looking at the comments and not at the camera, sorry about that. What I'm thinking is, okay, let's create a greater sense of depth by just bringing a little bit of contrast into this mid-region and into the foreground. Just like that. Let's have a try. Invert that, B for brush. Yeah, we can, I'll just make that a bit smaller. And look, a lot of the time, you guys know the techniques, you know, adding contrast, adding brightness, adding color, or manipulating color and tweaking the colors and adding color washes and all those different things. And you're probably thinking, well, I kind of know the techniques, but I don't know how to apply them and I don't know where they should be applied. And that really comes down to do your research. Once you know how to use Photoshop, the basics of Photoshop, and you can have a look, there's a link to my courses in the description below. You can have a look at that. That will give you the basics of Photoshop. But once you understand the basics of Photoshop, you need to start researching and, you know, buying books or jumping on YouTube and understanding about the effects of those tools. So how does contrast affect the eye and the mood of the photo? How does a particular color affect the ability to draw the eye and the mood of a photo? And how does brightness affect? So it comes down to, you know, for this image here, let's say we wanted a mysterious but soft and peaceful image. Okay, soft and peaceful don't normally, you know, high contrast doesn't normally resonate with soft and peaceful. If we go high contrast here, it might look awesome, but it's not generally, you know, that's the sort of the go-to for when you first start off in photography. Make everything look awesome with lots and lots of contrast. But is that the story that we want to tell? So it really, what story was it? And if it was soft and peaceful, then we want to maybe stick to a softer contrast palette. You know, even soften that contrast back like that. You know, which was closer to where the image started at. And same with colors. If we want the image to feel cold, then we want to be adding in your blue greens, your bluish kind of coldish colors. And if you want the image to feel warmth and uplifting maybe, then you maybe want to add some of those warmer, softer colors like your reds and oranges and magentas. And if you want that, or if you want the dark and gloomy and heavy, depressing feeling, well again, the greens, the darker greens and blues can help. So once you understand Photoshop and how to add color and manipulate color and add contrast and remove contrast and add light, all those great things, then we need to understand the effects of doing that within our photography to help us tell the stories we're trying to tell. Because at the end of the day, if we want to stand out and do something unique, we need to express ourselves authentically. And that's not something that we think about in the first couple of years of our photography. It's something that generally comes once we lose a little bit of the passion. Kind of like, well, photography, not that excited about it anymore, so we need to add more meaning and more purpose into our photography. And that's a little hint about what we're going to be chasing with this new YouTube series. So we're going to be chasing the meaning and the purpose and how to find our style and who are we as a creative and all those really interesting, thought-provoking type. Giving away too much, aren't I? I am. All right, let's have a look at before and after. I've tried to keep it very, very subtle, but I think it works. Before, it was a little bit dull and flat and neutral for my liking. Because it's almost black and white, we've just added a little bit of color and a little bit of light to that dolphin, a little bit of contrast to that dolphin to add depth and try and get that mood of a cold, but at the same time uplifting. So we've got the cold, but we have the warmth. We've got both, which adds an interest, adds to the story, and hopefully, I don't know. Heather, what do you think? It was Heather, wasn't it? Have I got that right? It was. Before, beautiful image, don't get me wrong. Absolute pleasure to work on. After. And look, I wouldn't push too much harder than that. And it's hard to restrain yourself because as we were playing with the contrast, there were some elements that looked really great, didn't there? Wasn't there? You know, as we sort of go like that, you go, oh. You know, but do we want to push that far? You know, some of you will probably say that that's better with more contrast than that. You know, and it's maybe you're right. Maybe we could paint it a little bit more, but that's up to yourself, Heather, to decide where do you stop. Awesome, Heather. Thank you so much. How would it look in black and white? Oh, well, I think it started off much in black and white and there, but let's have a look. Yeah, to me personally, and it's not my photo, so it's not for really me to say, but for me personally, it doesn't have the emotion and the coldness of the scene that I would want to see. And again, if you're going to switch to black and white, then maybe you do want some more contrast in there, do you? I don't know. Yeah. But again, although the image looks great as a black and white, absolutely, the story is lost for mine. So if it's about the story, and it should be, you know, as we get through our photography, and again, you're going to find this period where you lose your mojo, start seeking the story, start looking for story in your own photography, in your own connection. So Heather, if you can find, you know, the essence and the feeling of the landscape that you felt when you were there, the peace, the serenity, the coldness, the crispness, if you can find that in the image when it's finished, that's an absolute success. Photo filter and color fill, Leslie, much the same, to be honest. Color fill in soft light and photo filter are very, very similar. I think photo filter is more subtle, straight out of the can, straight out of the box, and that's why I tend to use it when I want to be more subtle with my coloring, whereas the photo fill or solid color in soft light tends to be really intense. Okay, let's move on. Ray is here as well. Ray, I'm not sure, did you tell me you were here in the beginning when we were doing your image? Sorry about the terrible dad joke, by the way. It's horrible. Anyway, embarrassing myself. Brian, I think it's Brian Dean from memory. He's a long-time viewer as well. And he's the last photo of today. How are we going? Oh, we're about an hour. I've been waffling on today, telling you all about the new project, haven't I? It's going to be great. Make sure you join the email list so you know when the new project is launching. I'm going to really hype it up. Hopefully it fulfills its potential. Brian says, I saw this big dramatic sky developing, and this is actually the thumbnail I used today, guys, so you know what's coming probably. I saw this big dramatic sky developing and loved the drama and colour. I enjoyed the contrast with the calm waters and feeling to the boats in the marina. I also love that most of the boats are white with a blue tinge, while the yellow trawler really pops out from the other boats. Oh, the yellow trawler. I was reading really well today, wasn't I? Until this one. And I've just dropped the bundle, dropped the ball, just dropped it. The blue tinge. While the yellow trawler really pops out from the other boats, but the tones in the sunset, I don't know. I've missed some words there or something in the copy and paste. Brian, let's forget about the words. I'm not good with words. You're great with photos. Let's have a look at the photo. It's an absolute colour bomb, spectacular. It's processed beautifully. What am I going to do? What are we going to do with this one? Carolyn, yeah, absolutely. I think you're referring to the last photo. We could absolutely put a vignette on the top too. Absolutely. It may help. Anthony, good to see you, mate. You haven't been here for a while. The news is this is the last live show before a 6-week break. I'm having a 6-week break. And the reason for the 6-week break is because I'm developing a new concept, and that's going to be launching roughly in about 6 weeks' time. But join the email list so that you know exactly and get all the updates of what's happening and what's building as it builds up. It's going to be, I hope it's going to be good. I'm going to enjoy it, and that's the main thing in an artistic endeavor, that you enjoy what you're doing. And I've loved this, but it's time to refine it into, or grow it into what it's meant to be. What is it meant to be? That will be part of the question. All right. What can we do? I mean, Brian, this is an absolute beauty. I absolutely love the yellow boat. That makes the image for mine. I love the color, I love the reflections. I think you've done an incredible job. My pleasure, Steph, my pleasure. And who knows, maybe we'll do some more live stuff as well when this new show launches in between times. Who knows what it's going to look like, but I need those 6 weeks to figure that out. Okay, it's incredible. It needs absolutely almost nothing, but one thing, there's a couple of things that I want to tweak on this. The blue sky, look, when we process images, the blue sky tends to be the one that gets really wild first, and I'd like to pull that back a little bit, just to allow the colors in the boat to shine. Because that really rich blue is drawing my eye up there. So if we come in here to hue saturation, grab the master and play around with the blues. Not too much. And maybe the cyans. Maybe even the master filter altogether. You know, something like that. And hang on a minute, I'm going to invert the layer. I'm not going to ruin that beautiful color in the sky. And we'll turn this up a little bit. And we're just going to try and take out a little bit of this upper color, which will help draw the eye down into the center where all the good stuff is. All right, so just there. Yep, I think that works. Maybe down the bottom here too. All right, I want to really highlight this boat a little bit more so. Now, Brian, no need to change anything, mate, if you don't want, but have a play around. It's always good to have a play and see if it suits your vision better or worse, and then make the decision up on that. Darnell with the sad face. What's going on? Oh, are we unhappy about the 6 weeks? Yeah, I know. It will go like that. I promise it will go like that. You got Tom Putt. Check out Tom Putt and his group, what's it called? Tom's Tribe on Facebook. He's doing live streams Tuesday. And of course, the Talking Landscape Photography guys are doing live streams Wednesday evenings. There's 2 catch-ups for you that will keep you occupied throughout the 6 weeks. And then, you know, jump on my mail list, get all my tips that come through weekly, and you'll also get the updates of the photographers that I've got lined up, the dates of launch, and etc., all that good stuff. All right, we're also going to add a darkening of the curve. I want to add a vignette. I want to really highlight this boat. It's really the feature. In fact, we could also crop, guys. What do you think? We might look at cropping, because if it's all about the boat and the sunset, maybe this section in the middle is the good stuff. Katrina, awesome. Yeah, Tom, yes, ramp it up 7 days a week, mate. Absolutely. Everyone would love that. Jump in, take the slot. Absolutely. All right, invert. Tom, you're a crazy cat. Let's add a little bit of darkness around the edges here. And we might even crop this off, so it might be all in vain, the darkening down. But I think, look what, some people maybe don't like vignettes. I love them. I think they really add some drama. When it's club time or competition time, you know, the saying often goes in competitions that judges love vignettes, they just don't like to see them, okay? So you want to really soften them in. Well, if you care about what the judges think. I mean, you can go really heavy vignette if you want, but yeah, that's the thing, isn't it, Tom? It's a lot of prep time. It is a lot of prep time. And in actual fact, what I want to do with the new series is really prep more. I want to really research the photographers that I'm getting on, so I can really ask the in-depth questions and really get to the core of how they got to where they are and how they project or express who they are as a photographer through their work. It's going to be good. I've talked it up so much now, it's probably going to suck. But anyway, got to be passionate about what you do. And I know you guys know that I'm passionate about, you know, what I do and what I produce. And that's what we're going to do moving forward. All right. So we just did those couple of vignettes there to try and really bring that boat up. Let's give that boat a little bit more light, a little bit more brightness. I know too much about you, Tom. That's the problem. But we will. I'm going to ask you the tough questions, Tom. Next time you come on for this new series, you know, they're going to be the tough questions. Who are you as a photographer? Who are you as a person that comes through your photography? It'll be interesting. No prep needed. Just wing it. Just wing it. All right, guys. What do we think? I think we've probably gone as far as we can go with this. It's a beautiful image. And I haven't done much, but I think maybe a crop. I think, Brian, often, you know, we see this color bomb sky and we want it all. You know, shoot the panoramic or wide angle lens and get all that incredible color in. But in this case, we need to ask ourselves, and you kind of answered that question for me in the beginning, didn't you? Where you said that you love the yellow trawler, really pops out from the boats and the rest of the tones. And I think if that's the case, if this story is all about that trawler and the way it pops out from or is different, or is a juxtaposition to the rest of the white boats and really pops out, then maybe we could go with a square crop. How would that look? I don't want that square crop though. I think we want, you know, as much as I'm not a huge rule of thirds fan, it is a good rule. What if we whack that right on the rule of thirds like that? Would that work? Would that work? Let's see. No. You got to try these things, but I'll be honest, straight up, that's not as good as Brian's original crop. All right? So we got to try that. Is there another crop in there? You know, if anything, and I'll tell you why this is the case, or why I believe this is the case. The rule of thirds was born, as was most of the composition rules, and pretty much everything that we take for granted in landscape photography composition these days, was originally born as a portrait composition. Balance, centering, rule of thirds, all of these different compositions come from portrait framing originally, because that's what the camera was originally used for, before landscape photography really took off. And in that case, generally when you do the rule of thirds, and if we just have a mess around, that's where I originally tried to place it, somewhere there. But the boat is pointing out to the near side, which generally doesn't work. It generally creates a lot of tension. If you take a portrait photography, whoever it might be, it doesn't really matter, but if they're looking straight down the center of the lens, then generally you'll often put them in the center of the frame. If they're looking to the left, that's my left, I think it is, and that's my right, if they're looking to that side, they'll generally be on the near side looking into the open side of the frame, and same the other way, near side looking into the open frame. And although the open frame there kind of works pretty well, the boat seems to be looking the wrong direction. So if the boat is our subject, and we are going to crop tightly like this, it probably needs to be there. Do I think that's better than the original crop Brian presented? No. Okay, so let's go back to that one. I think that's it. Ah, my pleasure, Robin. Thank you so much for your support. You've been incredible. And a big shout out to Young as well, who has, in actual fact, bought me a couple of red wines over the time to thank me for the show. And that was very, very generous of you, and they were very delicious. Absolutely very delicious. Thursday, 10 a.m. Thanks for that. It's looking like it's going to be the 10 a.m. slot, which actually suits me quite well as well, because it works well for all you guys that are currently watching, and it also works really, really well over in Canada and the USA as an evening time slot, okay, which suits me very, very well. So we will look at that. I will look at those time slots. It's going to be fun. I'm going to jump in and start. I'm going to have about a week's break, and then I'm going to start contacting photographers, setting up the structure and setting up everything that comes with this, and it's going to be a lot of fun. That was the last image for the day. This is the last show of the ISO series. Guys, thank you so much. You made my time fly. You made my time enjoyable. It's been absolutely fantastic, but it's time to grow and change and go in a slightly new direction. Very, very slimmer, only a slight tweak with more purpose, more meaning, and I think it's going to be a really good change, and I'm really passionate about it. It's going to be fun. Thank you guys. Thanks for joining me. Make sure you join the email list so you get the updates of what's going on, who's agreed to come on, and what we're going to be talking about, and what we're going to be looking for and searching for, and it's going to be great. Thanks again, and I will see you guys again back. Well, I'll probably do something in the meantime, but the main show will be back in about 6 or 8 weeks. Thanks again, guys. We will see you then. Take care till then. Stay safe, stay well. Bye for now.